What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another Bodacious episode of Bodacious Rant. I can't talk right now. I apologize. With also the
Your loss of words. This is what the movie does to you.
Some movies do, yes. You know, whether it be a good movie or a bad movie, sometimes your mind gets lost or degraded. However you want to look at it, you know. Kids today, so desensitized by movies and television. But we are talking about a very ill-fated movie. From the second it was teased, I knew it was going to be a dumpster fire. I didn't want it to be. I was hoping I'd be entertained, but even then, I can't say that. So, and I think everyone knows what we're talking about, not only from the thumbnail and the title, but we are talking about the newest Sony Spider-Man movie, Madam Web, starring Dakota Johnson, Isabella Merced, Sydney Sweeney, Celeste O'Connor, that's her name, and then the other, Ben Scott, or Adam Scott, Emma Roberts, and then I'm probably saying this wrong, Tahir Rahim. I could, again, I'm sorry, some names are...
Yeah, probably Tahar Rahim, but yeah, I haven't heard him say his name. So.
Yeah, I don't think I've really ever seen him before, so anyways. This is a non-spoiler review as always, so please do not forget to give us a like. If you like the video, ring the bell, and of course subscribe. We do appreciate you all and want to keep talking about all the good stuff, or the bad stuff, you know. Unfortunately, we're talking about bad, but... so this movie is, from what I remember they've talked about in previous articles leading up to this movie, this is its own thing, amazingly. I don't, why even have a Spider-Man character if it's going to be its own universe? It's kind of stupid, in my opinion, especially because they did Morbius, they did Venom, and they're all tied to the rest of the MCU in some weird way. Very little, though. Not, super tied in, but... it's Sony. They butcher everything.
It's a mess. Right, whether it connects or not, it's just who knows at this point. I don't think even they do, to be honest.
I don't think they care, and this movie's evident that they don't care. But anyways, real quick. The movie stars... the movie is about this girl, Cassie Webb. No pun intended, that's literally her name, with one B. And she is an EMT in New York in 2003. And she gets in an accident, but finds out that she can see into the future, and discovers that the main villain was with her mother studying spiders in the Amazon right before she died, which is probably one of those memed quotes of all time right now, or at least in recent memory. And there are so many choices that were done with the plot and the direction of the movie. I'm like, were they doing a drinking game? Did they really not care? I don't know. I think the latter of it is true, that this is just a movie that has no heart whatsoever, no sort of inspiration or even artistic direction. As Wednesday Addams would say, this movie is puerile and under-dramatized. It lacks any structure or any of the Aristotelian unities. And, which I apologize, I don't know what. I just love that line so much because she's such a sassy kid. But literally, this movie is just pure garbage. I don't think there's really anything salvageable about this movie besides the costume design, and I can't spoil it for you, so I'm not going to say anything more. Oh, but it's just baffling how bad this movie is. I think I hate it almost worse than Morbius, and Morbius I hate with a passion. But Byrne, just so I can give myself a break, what did you think of this movie? This dumpster fire of a film.
Well, the viewers aren't going to get much of a break because it's just more of the same. You know, it's one of those movies, like you coming into it, it's okay, we're getting a live action Sony spinoff that nobody asked for, so it's all right, let's buckle up and see what we're going to get. Is it going to be fun like the Venom movies, or is it going to just be an absolute trash fire like Morbius was? And yeah, it's more of the latter for sure. And that's unfortunate with the sort of cast that they've got put together here. You would think they would try to do something better with the material or with these characters. Characters that fully admit that I'm not too familiar with in the Spider realm. I don't really know too much about them. I've seen them in comics here or there, but they're usually in the peripheries. Yeah, it's like okay, I'm coming into it. You're gonna get me to like these characters or not. The movie has to do its job, and to an extent, I think the actors elevate the material more so than the script that they're given. Just because you have these four talented actors that are charismatic and are talented, and they make you like them despite the lack of material that they have to work with, and that's again an unfortunate aspect of this movie where the script doesn't know what it wants to be. Is it an origin story? Is it a team up movie? Is it a race against time? It's just a bunch of jumbled ideas, a web of ideas, as one would say. And it just leads to the most awkward places. There were like in terms of the script, where it's like, okay, now we're going here, we're going there. Like, how does this all like really come together? And the characters like really are just being flung from one place to another, and it's like, okay, but why should I care about them other than them being fun to watch? But yeah, it's like in terms of like a superhero movie, it's very lacking in all the aspects that you would expect from a superhero movie. The action's not really that great. The CGI and effects are, I mean, bad at best. Luckily, they were minimal. I will say that there wasn't a huge reliance on CGI, but when it was there, it was noticeable, and it wasn't really well done at all. But I will say, yeah, like maybe the practical aspects of it were decent enough. Dakota Johnson, kind of sarcastically moving her way through this movie. It seems like she knew what she was getting into, and sort of like how Matt Smith and Morbius sort of like knew what he was getting into, having fun with the material despite of how bad it is. So at least she was able to give me something to grasp onto while everything else was basically crumbling around her. But yeah, man, it's one of those things where it's like, diminishing returns from a studio that doesn't seem to know what to do with this material outside of the Spider-Verse movies, which are incredible. Everything else, though, has just been weirdly like entertaining at best and just garbage at worst. And this is, again, more of the latter.
Yeah, I mean, Venom is barely okay. I'm being honest. Like, as much as I love Tom Hardy and I do like what they did with Venom and Carnage in the last movie, that's a franchise that's limping on, in all honesty. But Morbius, total garbage. I think they're it's one of those things like you and I were talking about before. This is just a movie that's very corporate. They're just doing it to keep the rights for whatever stupid reason, because yeah, their Spider-Verse movies are awesome, but that's all they do right. Everything else, they don't care about. The only thing that kind of gets people to care about these movies is like, Tom Hardy with Venom and that team. And then the actors, yeah, they did their job. I did not feel that sense that you were talking about with Dakota Johnson. I thought her acting was stilted in it, but I won't necessarily blame her because this movie is just garbage all around. And I think they were all working with what they got. But Isabella Merced, Celeste O'Connor, and Sydney Sweeney, they did what they could. I think they were decently likable. Their costume design was actually decently faithful to the comics and stuff like that. I think Isabella Merced's suit, her being Araña, where the other two are just called Spider-Woman. So it's kind of funny that it's like, yeah, you have two different girls using the same name in one movie. I don't know with the comics if they're around at the same time or if it's like almost like a pass-off thing, like, oh, now you carry the mantle of Spider-Woman. I don't know how that works, so I'm not caring about that right now. But and then Ezekiel Sims, oh my god, I can't get into it, dude. That the editing, like you were talking about, the effects were bad. The audio was complete garbage for this movie. I think this is literally like they had interns do it, which I don't mean to crap on any interns or people who are up and coming in the industry, but I'm like, this is just bad for a studio that's supposed to be like, that has one of the biggest properties in pop culture right now. Like, you guys really messed it up. But obviously they don't care. They're gonna make money regardless. And then Ezekiel Sims, as much as his suit was like getting the parodied of or was getting saying like, oh yeah, this is the boys version of Spider-Man, where it's like a parody of Spider-Man, I'm like, it still kind of worked for me. I didn't mind when that suit came onto the screen. I was like, okay, it's kind of cool. Like, definitely screams villain. I respect that. But beyond that, and beyond the actors being somewhat likable, especially Adam Scott, I think he definitely did try to make his character more important than what he is, because he is Ben Parker, who, aka Uncle Ben. So he did the best with what he could. They all did, really. Having said all that, this movie is going to be a hard 1 out of 5. If it weren't for the costume design, the actors being, as good as they could be, this movie would definitely be a hard 0 like Morbius. So Yeah, that's all I gotta say on it. I definitely don't recommend to see this in theaters. Don't even waste your money. Save it for later.
Right. I mean, your time and your money is better spent elsewhere, basically, pretty much. So you can't say it any better than that. But yeah, I'm glad that you pointed that out too about the ADR, because usually that's something that I tend to notice, just because I have a background in sound, and so that's my ears and my eyes are like very attuned to that. But so for someone who I would say is like more of a casual viewer to like see that, it's like that's just a testament to how bad it is. Because most of the time, even me with a trained eye will miss certain things. Here, no, yeah, everything with Ezekiel's character was just. Oh, it was very, very bad. And like not only in terms of the ADR aspect, but just everything with that character. It's just the most generic bad guy villain you can think of. If you think of all like the evil villain quotes that you can come up with in your head, he probably says all of them throughout the course of the movie, and that's basically his entire character, which is again, it's just one of those things that when you walk away from it, it's like, okay, I'm trying to find things to be entertained by, and that's definitely not what about. At least with Morbius, I had Matt Smith, who again was having a lot of fun with the role, and at least left me walking away being entertained in some form, even if I'm just laughing at the movie. Here, I'm just like completely bored by it and just like baffled by the decisions that they made. So I'm not finding any fun out of it. I'm just kind of being tortured almost. But yeah, it's a 1 out of 5 for me. All these actors deserve better. These characters deserve better than this. Even me not being familiar with them, certainly like this is not the best effort that they should get, and that's unfortunate to say. But I mean, what else can we expect from these live action movies at this point? It's like you fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, that's on me. And anybody going into this wanting it to be good or expecting it to be good, you're just kind of putting yourself through that at this point.
Funny enough, given I did see it came out Valentine's Day this week, and I did see a lot of couples in there, and I'm thinking like, why would you guys come out for this? Like, this is gonna be a movie that's so bad, I don't even think there's anything gonna be good about it. But I don't know. I probably should stay behind and be like, hey, you guys are a couple. Do you see this date getting any better from this movie? And if they're like, no, I'm like, well, happy Valentine's Day to you, but it's fine.
Possibly even a mood killer. I don't know.
It would kill my mood, yeah, because it was just garbage. But the only thing I will say is that, the three ladies and Dakota Johnson, if there was a movie where they were actually, in their spider suits and stuff more and all this stuff, I think it would actually be a pretty solid movie. But the way this one ended and the way it was, I'm like, I don't want anything more from Sony. They need to stop. But other than that,
buckle up, we're getting Craven later this year, so
God,
they're just gonna keep on coming.
They're a bunch of a-holes, that's what they are. But for those of you who did happen to catch this movie, did you hate it as much as we did, or did you like it? Which, if you did, more power to you. I don't know how. That is definitely questionable, but to each their own.
I mean, if they walk away entertained, I'm happy for them. At least they didn't feel like their money was wasted.
I stand by baffled. I'm like, how? How did you get entertained by this? I would love to feel that, but no. Until next time, everybody, stay bodacious and keep on ranting for the both of us.
Absolutely. Everybody can be good, be safe, and as always, we'll catch y'all on the next one.